Hey, what's up guys? JonJonTheWise here. I got another Cyberpunk video for you guys. This time I wanted to talk about the new minis from Monster Fight Club for Cyberpunk Red, and it is kind of a sentimental video. I wanted to, elaborate on how happy I am that we have these minis and how cool it is and all kinds of other stuff. But before we get into that, I want to let you guys know we have a Discord. If you haven't already been a part of it, the link will be in the description below. Our Cyberpunk Red 2020-2077 Discord is made for new people, for veterans, and anybody in the community that is a fan of the game, of the genre, of other tabletop games. We even talk about Warhammer. We even talk about looking for group and all kinds of stuff in this Discord. So if you guys are interested in joining a cool community that's very welcoming, make sure you click on that link below. All right. So for those of you that don't know, Monster Fight Club has created the new miniatures for Cyberpunk Red, and obviously we're used to seeing miniatures for tabletop RPGs, especially stuff like D&D. There's thousands of them out there from so many retailers. If you guys want more information on Monster Fight Club, make sure you check out the podcast that Luke and I did with Monster Fight Club CEO John Kovalevsky and Aaron Dill. The two of them together, they gave us their story. They started Gale Force 9 back in the day. Gale Force 9 was started in John's basement. He scribbled the logo on a piece of paper, and so many years later, they broke off and they created their own new company called Monster Fight Club. And if you want more information on them, go ahead and check out our podcast. We go in depth on, their whole history and everything. These miniatures that we're going to be talking about, they were supposed to be demoed and shown front and center at GaryCon, but obviously with the pandemic going on, we didn't get to see that or get to have any kind of convention atmosphere. They did the best that they could by having a virtual game going on with Mike Pondsmith. John Kovalevsky was in it. You had Matthew Illard and some other really cool people were part of it, and I'm very grateful for that. But it is a shame that we didn't get to see these miniatures in action on the beautiful terrain that Monster Fight Club is known for doing, and all the awesome miniatures that they have in store for us. The silver lining of this whole thing is we get to actually purchase them and use them for our games and paint them and do all the cool things that we want to do. Back in the early 90s, we did have official Cyberpunk miniatures. They were made by Grenadier, and it was a limited amount, boxed sets and blister packs and everything. If you go on Google and you type it, you'll be able to find them out there. But they are not for sale. They're sold out. You can't find them anywhere. They're like, lost items of time over 30 years ago. So that was like the last time that we got official miniatures. We all love Cyberpunk. It's a niche thing, but we don't have the cool products that D&D and other RPGs have. It's understandable, it's a niche market. The community is not as big as the other communities. It is growing, and this shows that it's growing. We have new miniatures coming out, and we can finally enjoy these products as they come in for something that we've been playing for 30 years. When I got back into the Cyberpunk zeitgeist, as you would want to call it, and the hobby, I was going all over the internet, scouring the internet, looking for anything. Are there adventure booklets? Is there music? Are there miniatures? And it was, first of all, very difficult to find, and second of all, not existent on some of the things. And like I said, it's understandable. It's a 30-year-old game. Why would we expect somebody to make cool new things 20, 30 years later? So I was desiring more and wanting for more. The good news is Artel Sorian saw something in Monster Fight Club. Now, this is a small company that's just starting up, and it's just a small group of people working together, in a small office environment. And their first item was a Kickstarter. So this is somebody that Artel Sorian is taking a chance on, but it was an educated guess to know that they would do a good job. If you just look at any of the other stuff that they've done, Monster Fight Club is really good at what they do. They have a lot of pride in their work. You can see it in the molds, and above all, they're excited about it. You know, they're just like us. They're nerds like us. They love this world and tabletop RPGs. They have their own home games and home groups that they play with. And if you listen to our podcast, they even talk about how they were making miniatures and stuff like that for their own personal, you know, games and stuff like that. It wasn't until somebody was like, hey, that's really good, that they realized that they can actually do this. It's undeniable that they respect the setting, that they respect the lore, and they want to do right by the fans. And that's something that you can see apparently in their work. So yeah, when I heard that these minis were going to be coming out, I had to get my hands on them. And before I got my hands on them, I realized I don't know how to paint miniatures. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Way back in the day, I was into Warhammer 40k when I was in my high school days, but I didn't really have the money to be creating an army, and there was no way my parents were going to be funding that hobby for me. So I kind of left it alone. But years later, these Cyberpunk Red minis came out, and I realized, you know, maybe I should get back into it. So I've been recently obsessed with Warhammer 40k. I've started my Thousand Sons army. I've been painting them, looking at YouTube videos, buying paint. Even during this pandemic, my local FLGS, we've been making appointments. I've been coming by and doing curbside pickups and picking up paint and stuff like that. And it's all because of these miniatures. These miniatures got me into wanting to create a new skill. I wanted to master or you know, not master, but be more proficient in a skill that I hadn't had before, which is painting and understanding paint and modeling and all that stuff. It's really cool that YouTube actually provides all that, and it's been an inspiration for my channel. Now, to get into detail on how I painted these miniatures and everything, they come almost fully assembled. There's maybe one or two pieces that have to be put together. For example, Mike Pondsmith's piece, the Maximum Mike piece, is just his model and the base, and all you have to do is put it together. I used the Citadel Citadel plastic cement glue, which apparently was the wrong glue to use. I was so frustrated that things were not sticking as easily as they did with my Warhammer models. I thought that this was the glue that was meant to be used. But if I had listened to the instructions, then I would have known that you just use plain old crazy glue, and that's the best glue to use. So after using crazy glue, everything came together just fine. I used a primer spray paint from Walmart. I primered the whole thing black. Then I got down to painting with the Citadel paints, which are the paints that are sold with Warhammer products and stuff like that. And I had a blast. The eyes on the miniatures are some of the most difficult things to do, and if you ask anybody that does miniature painting, modeling, or any of that stuff, they'll agree with you on that aspect. And I realized since I'm a novice, it's not a big deal. This is for my own personal use. I don't have to do the eyes if I don't want to. I don't mind the way that they look without the eyes being done correctly or incorrectly. And I realized that that's part of the beauty of this whole thing, that you don't need to do it any certain way. It's whatever way you want to do it. It's however you enjoy it. It's the same way that we play our home games when we homebrew and stuff like that. It's the way that we want to enjoy it. And I'm grateful that I have the chance to be as creative and not as creative as I want to be. The two miniature sets that I purchased were limited items because they are the virtual GaryCon items. It's hard to explain, but if you go to the Monster Fight Club website, I think they're still available. I had to get John Too Tall Kovalevsky's model. This is the same guy that's the CEO of Monster Fight Club. They made a little model of him, and after having a conversation with him and Aaron, I really was inspired by them, and I'm rooting for them, you know, and I'm grateful for everything that they do. So having his model is, while it's a little bit creepy, it's a little bit sentimental too. I thought it would be cool to look back at it, you know, years later and think, yeah, this was the guy that did this and, you know, is the head of Monster Fight Club. So it was kind of like my way of honoring him and all that. The second model that I got was Mike Pondsmith's model. It's Maximum Mike. He's like he has a badge. It says NCPD for Night City Police Department. He even has a little cyber dog with him, and it's so cool, man. I mean, this is the man that created it all. He's the originator of my obsession with Cyberpunk, and I've had so many good memories with the game, even before this YouTube channel and after it and all that, and I'm continuing to make good memories with it. So I had to get Mike, obviously. So those were the two models that I felt really I gravitated towards, and I really wanted to honor them by purchasing it and being one of those guys that have it in their collection. I know that John and Aaron and Mike and everybody that is a part of Talsorian and Monster Fight Club, they're working their asses off right now. I know that they're disappointed with the way things are going in this world, and they're trying to make the best of it. And I really just wanted to make this video to thank them for all their hard work and thank them for everything that they've done, for help giving me a new obsession, giving me a new hobby to pass the time. Because painting these models and putting them together and learning how to do all that stuff, it's really given me a new joy in this really dark time. So I know that Cyberpunk Red's core manual has been moved to the end of summer, and I know that everybody at Talsorian is disappointed because of it. The fans are disappointed, but I just want them to know, if they're listening, that I'm grateful for all their hard work, and it's okay, you know, it's okay, because there's so much that we can do with what's already there, and there's so many cool things happening, and these miniatures are exactly the type of things that are coming in the future. If this is it, if this is the quality that we're going to be getting, then I'm excited, and you should all be excited too. So really, this video is just to say thank you and to show off my cool little miniatures and my new obsession for painting. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate everyone's support. I hope you guys are keeping safe, and I really appreciate the cool comments that you guys leave me, and the support and everything. You know, it's really cool. I love it, and I can't wait to do more content for you guys, and I can't wait to see what's in store for the future. So thank you all. Thank you, John. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Mike. Thank you all. We'll see you on the next one.